Folks, you are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in, now it's become sweltering Southern California. That young man out there is
moderately warm Rochester, New York, Matt Metris.
moderately warm. Matt and I have had a real interesting tour through this American-made agave spirit. This is called Blasphemus.
It's a journey through blasphemy today, Mike.
Yeah, it has been. What was it? The definition of blasphemous was in that 7-year-old.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's the design.
If you folks are just tuning in, go check out the 7-year. There are 3 expressions: 7, 11, and 17 years. And the 7-year was a real eye-opener for me. What this is, it's handmade American agave spirit blended with 17-year-old agave. Okay? 17-year-old agave in the ground, I'm hoping. We're not sure because it doesn't tell us. Mm-hmm. The information that we have, we even have an information deck that they sent to us, and I'll try to read some of that stuff as we go through here. But it doesn't tell us a whole lot about the process, which is guys like me and Matt, and even, Matt and his brother own a bar together, and they have, you teach classes, and so you tell me, there are people who are asking that question, right? How long is it aged? What's it aged in? You're getting more and more people who are educated.
Yeah,
and so,
absolutely. I did a class this past weekend, and somebody asked me a question. I had something completely forgot about a very popular brand in the tequila community that had started releasing bottles that had not been aged to their normal standard time, and were putting an age statement on the bottle. And I had completely forgotten about that whole scenario. And they called me out. I was like, oh yeah, that was a couple years ago. I totally forgot about it. So there's people out there who know their stuff.
Yeah, we can't pull the wool over people's eyes, and we've never been in that category anyway. But this is Blasphemous. I have not opened this bottle.
Nope, me neither.
Here, so it is dipped in a very functional wax. Looks like that doesn't come off on your hands. We have actually had a mezcal earlier this year that Alex and I tasted, and the wax came off on your hands like tar. It was weird, but it didn't smell like tar. It was wax, black wax. Okay, here we go again.
Black cork. That one cork is an anomaly.
Okay.
So it just doesn't smell like anything.
Oh, look, the wax actually did come off on my finger. See?
This one,
be aware.
The cork was tight on this one. This one took some strength to pull it open.
Yeah, it must have been double dipped or something. Double dipped in wax just for you. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm going to pour some. It smells rather gamey. I'm going to pour some in a Glencairn. I think you got a Glencairn too, aren't you?
I do have a Glencairn. I have a whole array of glasses here in front of me, but I chose the Glencairn. Oh my God, I can't get the cork back in. Yeah, what? This is darker than the other two as well. So
no kidding. Okay, folks, it says it's blended with 17-year-old agave. They're not telling us. Again, the information that we're getting is they're in their infancy. They're trying to work out the bugs and what they're going to say and how to say it. And the people behind this brand are the same folks who are behind Brujo Mezcal. If you've had Brujo, for those of you who are watching us in the UK and Europe, you've probably seen Brujo all over the place because they were UK only. And when Matt and I did their review, the very only one that we've ever done, we got it shipped to us from the UK. I'm not even sure how that happened. But they shipped us 2 separate bottles. So Matt had a bottle of Espadín, and I had Pechuga. And so it was the most awkward review we've ever done. We got lucky. Years later, they came through and sent us all 6, and we'll be doing those a little bit later. So, but in the meantime, this has got a nice brassy, coppery look to it. Look at that.
Yeah.
That looks like a whiskey.
It screams extra añejo.
Yeah, for sure. And it's got lingering bubbles, as did the 11-year. Okay, so there are some good signs here, folks. you know, they got to pull the wagons together. I think they need to round up the wagons, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
and because they're on the verge of something. They're calling it an American-made agave spirit, and we'll explain why. Okay, a little bit later on. Beautiful legs and tears. Each one of these was visually beautiful to look at.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's gorgeous. You know what it reminds me of, Matt? Did we do Cali Rosa together?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh no, we did not Cali Rosa. We did Casa Rica.
Yes. Yep.
And those are aged in wine barrels,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of got that. And I mentioned that Casa Rica is aged in a wine barrel, but also we did Cali Rosa earlier, myself and Jason Silverman, and it's got that French oak aged in a they age it in 3 different types of rosé, Pinot Noir, and something else, Chardonnay barrels. So it's very dark and brassy and red. This looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Way more plant. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the nose.
Still getting a fair amount of ethanol,
Yep.
similar to the other two. I definitely get some more like oak.
There's, you know, when you dip something in wax, there's very little that is able to escape. Not even with cork, there's some escapage that happens. And these were delivered to us. They were sent to us, you know, via a delivery service, and so they didn't. There's no way it can even leach. It can't even. The heat's not going to do anything to it. So it's just gonna steam right up inside the bottle. You know, the bottle's black too, folks. It's a black metal bottle. So there's mostly plant is what I'm getting. There's
For
still
me, the plant is more muted.
What are you getting?
I'm getting ethanol first, and then some barrel notes, and then plant.
In the barrel notes, what sort of barrel are you getting? Is it whiskey? Is it bourbon? What are we getting?
More whiskey than bourbon. It's not as sweet. It's definitely oak forward.
I will say there's a fair amount of alcohol. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we discovered. I surmised with you know, I did. What's the word I'm looking for? Not surmised. It's a
Deduced.
Deduced. Yeah, that very good. Thank you, Sherlock. From all the telltale signs, I deduced that their black cork in the 7-year had leached. Matt didn't have a 7-year-old black cork. He had the regular beige synthetic cork, so he didn't get any of that leaching. So I don't know what the base plant smells like. The 11-year-old was better, but I forgot to rinse out my mouth once I washed myself of the whole 7-year-old. I am still getting just a slight hint of that synthetic, powdery, sweet rubber tire, but it's very faint. And I'm not sure if it's because it's in my retronasal now. I can't get rid of it. Whatever it is, that 7-year-old is trashing the rest of your line, is all I can say. But yeah, no, it's coming through. It's coming. It's opening up, and there's still that. I don't know what that is. It's disconcerting to me because I don't know. I think, Matt, if it was you and me going down to South Texas, I would like to, if the root of this juice is Espadín Brujo style, I want to taste separately that, and then I want to taste what the Patatorum tastes like in Texas. Because If it ain't, if it, and then the final product. That's what I want to taste from both plants, and then the final product. This is aged. This is blended with Espadin and Patatorum, which I was going to find the name, the other commercial name for Patatorum. And what else is used for that? I want to say Raicilla is made with Patatorum, but I could be wrong. It could be. It may be one of those. I did get the deck up. Here we go. All right, so I have the deck up, and I'm going to have to increase the size here of the font. Bear with me, because there's very little information about they're honoring the history. Our expertise over a span of 6 years has created world-renowned brands with expansion into European markets and throughout North America. Well, Brujo, everybody in the UK has seen Brujo. If you've been to any mezcaleria worth their salt, they've got Brujo. Eduardo, our founder, is sharing his family recipe with the world, okay? What makes Blasphemus unique? It is our secret family recipe, originally from Texas. The agave plant reigns true to Texas roots, and Blasphemus is paving the creative trend of new agave category. Why not? I'm there, man. The world is ready for an American agave spirit.
Absolutely.
Not mezcal, not tequila. We don't taste that. We don't taste like them. We are Blasphemous, an authentic American agave spirit. Blasphemous is about daring to do something differently, changing the norms in a disruptive manner. We honor the hardworking people who dare to be visionaries, those who think blasphemous. Okay, and that's pretty much the rest of the information here. They got beautiful pictures of the process. Takes time, 7, 11, or 17 years of aged agave. All right, now the wording is some people call it misleading. I want to say it's nebulous.
Ambiguous.
Ambiguous. Okay. We cook the piñas with the same care that every generation has done before. What does that mean? Okay. Let's see. The plants are cut. Okay. Good. That's good.
That's helpful. You don't want them uncut.
Grinding. Extracting the agave nectar. Again, just ambiguous wording on the copy. The mash of roasted agave with water added starts the fermentation period of 3 to 15 days. I don't doubt that they're using their time-tested methods as they do it with Brujo. Using ancestral tools made of copper, wood, and clay, we finish the distillation process with unique ingredients. That's where it says under distillation. Again, ambiguous. I can't. I don't. Is it opening up for you now, Matt? Some more?
Definitely.
So what are you getting?
Still more barrel, more like vanilla, butterscotchy type notes. I'm not seeing that plant still.
Let's dive in.
Okay.
Let's dive in.
Much warmer mouthfeel than the other one. The first thing that hits me is almost like a caramel. Like, remember those little the square ones, the cube ones that you unwrap? That's exactly what.
Yeah, that was the first. Those were ancient candies, man. That you get. You wanted a handful of those because you could actually melt them and make carameled apples out of them too. It's hot. It's peppery hot, cinnamon hot
Mm-hmm.
on the palate. An explosion of that. It's a long giving finish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's for an 80 proof. It's aggressive, and I said that with the 7 and the 11 year.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, Not a bad thing.
No plant for me at all. Are you getting any plant on the taste?
I did on the nose at first. I got more plant on the 11 year. I'm still getting more residual powdered rubber.
Mm.
It's very prominent in the 7 year. I deduced that it could be a tainted cork. If this is the flavor profile that they're going after, explain to me what it's being aged in. Tell me it's a barrel I've never had. Even if and we've had brands with barrels that have staves of different wood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Didn't you say Costa Rica was doing that? Or I wasn't sure if it was you.
I don't think that was me.
Maybe it was Mijenta, that they were using barrels that had different staves. They're made of a combination of different wood, so that in one barrel, so
Mm-hmm.
that instead of doing the blending and barrel to barrel to barrel, which is very labor intensive,
Sure.
you use one barrel with different staves of wood, and age it in that. Okay, I don't know what they're aging this in. I say of the three, I've enjoyed the 11-year-old better, and
Yeah.
I thought that I had some residual stuff coating my palate in between the 11 and this 17 year. I went and flushed it out with vodka and several times. Took my sweet time with that because I wanted to come in here fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you might be onto something there, Mike, with the aging. Maybe these aren't oak barrels. Maybe there's something else going on that's responsible for this super dark color, and it's not being aged for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
I don't know. I don't know what they're using. I don't know. The wording is again sketchy. They're saying it's aged agave. When you say aged agave, I'm thinking it's in the ground. Okay, I can believe that. I can believe that. I don't know about anything being aged 17 years. Some of the older plants that they make other mezcals from, like barril, for instance, takes up to 30 years to grow. I believe it, but it's going to taste like barril. This doesn't taste like anything like that. It doesn't taste like couché. It doesn't taste like anything. It tastes like there's something wrong with the barrel or the cork. And that's sad because that 11-year-old had potential.
Mm-hmm.
In my estimation, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you.
I don't know. What else can we say about this thing? What else do you want to say?
I think we covered it all. I'm getting a little bit more plant though as it opened up. It's still very subtle for me, but I can taste some actual agave in there comparatively to how it started out.
You know what? More agave on the retronasal. If they're blending this with a specific barrel, even if they're using an additive, okay, let's just go there. Since, as you mentioned earlier, they are not beholden to any of the laws of the CRM or the CRT or whatever the CRM is calling themselves these days, because the mezcal industry is in disarray. It's clashing. Let's just say that they were going for this flavor profile. It's not dovetailing. It's not complementing each other. They're clashing, in my opinion.
And when we have, when we taste an ensemble that is multiple varieties of agave, they typically complement each other, like you said, and it's lacking here.
Yeah, it's something is fighting itself, and I think you just got too many personalities trying to come through. You got Barrel trying to come through, and two different plants. You got three people who want to take the lead, and nobody is taking a back seat. If indeed this is the flavor profile you're going for, I will say that powdery rubber, that inner tube flavor, it's off-putting to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not offensive if you like the smell of rubber, okay? Because it's not burning rubber. I've had mezcals that just smell like burned rubber, and and either they supercharged they have it in the past. Some of these mezcal makers years and years ago, when they ran out of wood, they would throw tires on top of their pit roasting, and you get that fusel rubber. I don't think this is it. I don't think that's this. Okay, because Brujo doesn't taste like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. And so I don't know. It's got there's a missing element there. They're on the verge of something. Okay, the world is ready for an American-made agave spirit with pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
This lotte, this experiment isn't it.
It's difficult to continue to extend the benefit of the doubt when there's that lack of transparency across the board, right? That's even literally in the bottle, there's a lack of transparency. So
I want to see what I'm getting. I mean, I like the black bottle. I like that it's cool. I like that they want to, what they want to go for. It's a luxury lifestyle kind of thing that they want to do. They want to harp on the history. Yes, it's blasphemous to have an American agave spirits. Oh my God, you guys are on to something, okay? But you got a little more work to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure on what end. I don't make anything. I just taste everything. Mm-hmm. I'm not a blender. I'm not a distiller. I'm not even one of those geeks that like Rick, who studies distillation. And I'm not a guy, a hobbyist who makes his own beer in his garage. I don't do any of that. I don't even make cocktails. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, Matt, could you make a cocktail with this?
I don't know. I would have to think about it as we've been talking, I've been thinking about what I would try and do with it, and I really don't know.
Okay. Well,
it's going to be so overpowering in a cocktail, and it's not bringing its own weight to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not it's not defining itself. Mm-hmm. It's clashing until there's an actual dovetailing of what you're going after. You can't do anything with it. Okay? When I get the plant, again, the 11-year-old has promise. Mm. Promise. But not enough to be named a brand of promise. Anyway, folks, that's our take on Blasphemus 17-year-old aged agave, handmade American agave spirit. If you've had this brand or if you've been to their distillery, tell us what you think. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the notification bell, write us a comment, subscribe, give us a like, because we're just telling you how it is. Likes help us on the algorithm, and tell us what you're doing with it. Okay, are you pairing it with cigars? Are you pairing it with dessert? What are you doing with it? I want to know. We're seriously interested. Okay, but that's our take. I don't know what else to say. They're on to something. They just need to go maybe back to the drawing board and refine a few things. Mm-hmm. So and when that happens, Matt and I will be here and we'll taste the second batch. I'm telling you, because now I want to know what they're doing and how they're doing it. Because
me too. I would love to know those details because I think it would inform a lot of what we're tasting here.
Yeah, because I'm at a loss right now. I don't even know. And I'll tell you, For instance, just to give you a real quick instance, Felipe and I tasted the agave spirit from Australia, and it was a reposado. And if I hadn't known, hadn't seen the complete notes from the distiller, they were completely transparent. They're wonderful people, and they told us, the wood that we use for pit roasting is eucalyptus, and it's in the booze, and it's lovely. And Felipe and I fell all over ourselves. They said, you know what? If they hadn't have said eucalyptus, because it had this minty flavor to it, not like vapor rub. It was like spearmint, like mint. And then they said eucalyptus. I said, oh, of course, because it grows. I'm here in Southern California. It grows everywhere. In Southern California, they grow it up and down the 10 freeway going east. And east towards San Bernardino, and they use it as windbreak. And you see these huge eucalyptus trees. I mean, this is the only thing that the koalas will eat is eucalyptus. Mm-hmm. And it makes total sense. And it was a beautiful layer of extra, So if you're using a wood that we don't know anything about, mm-hmm. Tell us what it is. Tell us what are you doing? Otherwise, yeah, so. Anyway, that's our take on Blasphemous. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That guy out there is
Matt Metris in Rochester, New York.
You've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our channels and networks. Please subscribe to us. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the notification bell, give us a like. But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.